Hi there, Sushant. My name's Andrew, and I am the essay corrector here at IELTSpodcast.com. Well done for getting this far in the course, and thank you for submitting your first corrections on essentially education. There are a myriad of topics that can come up on the IELTS exam, and it's best to be prepared for all of them. So starting with education, children, activities, schools. So these are the sorts of words now that we realise we're going to be using quite frequently. So before we start the essay, we should think of some synonyms for them. Repetition is a major score loser in IELTS, and it's best to vary your language as frequently as possible. Of course, staying precise, but variety is key. So each time you submit a set of work to me, I'll read through it sentence by sentence, offering you some spelling corrections, grammatical corrections, suggestions for more academic phrasings, as well as some general pointers and advice on how to stick to the format and achieve a consistent and coherent essay. So starting with your introduction, here, if this is a verb, as in to read books, reading books, then this should be has. If this is a noun, reading books, then have is fine. But my brain sees this as a verb because it leads the sentence. So I would say this should be has. So reading books has been considered. Here we can drop this and be a little bit more efficient. Reading books has been considered the best traditional method to enhance skills and imagination. Remember which group this pertains to. However, with the advent of technology, these abilities, let's say, these abilities can be developed more efficiently by performing fun activities. In my opinion, I agree that enjoyable activities, and also always use such as instead of like when giving examples like this. Enjoyable activities such as playing a game on a console and sports. Let's make this final sentence a little bit more specific. Let's say outperform. Let's keep it similar, but make it really precise. So, playing a game on console and sports do outperform reading in sharpening a child's, again, remember the group, and let's say skill set. Do outperform reading in sharpening a child's skill set and kindling imagination. Oh, that should be 2 words, sorry. This is not quite accurate enough, so what I'll do is change this to sharpening a child's skill set and, we could say developing imagination, but you've already used developed here. So let's say encouraging the imagination. There we go. So in the intro, we're required to do 3 things. We need to discuss both sides of the argument. So you've introduced it here and discussed both sides. This is good. You've given your opinion, and you've briefly outlined the ideas that you will use in the body of your essay. So I am happy with the format of your introduction. It just needed some minor improvements. So for the first body paragraph, so firstly, fun activities such as playing games on the Sony PlayStation interests most children. Let's change this to the majority of, just to sound smarter. The majority of children. They can be engaged in playing games for long duration, let's say a long duration, mainly due to meticulously crafted images and animation. Hence, while playing games, they can develop concentration over a considerable amount of time. Although I'm not sure how this relates strictly. If we want to talk about a considerable amount of time, then really we should have referenced this beforehand. Because this is the only I suppose you mentioned duration here. Here as well should be a comma. Also, the current generation of games are full of action, which enhances the spatial awareness and body reflexes. Cool. Virtual reality, thanks to the technology advancement. This should be thanks to the advancement of technology, or thanks to technological advancement. So we could get rid of that and do that. Virtual reality allows children to experience the world in 3 dimensions. Here, really, we should do that. And here, there. Allow children to experience the world in 3 dimensions. And when paired with gaming consoles, it tremendously enhances the imagination skills. Therefore, let's make this smarter. By participating in playful activities, skills and imagination can be developed in ways otherwise not possible. So that this is quite a complex construction. Skills and imagination can be developed in ways otherwise not possible. That's what I've done wrong. I've missed that. Put that there. Skills and imagination can be developed in ways otherwise not possible with rudimentary activities. Such as reading books. Secondly, sports activities. Oh no. Again, here we should say the majority of children love, which the majority of children love, enhances physical and cognitive abilities. Playing outdoor games with friends enables, requires physical exercise that leads to healthy body and mind. Sports instills. Sports also instill motivation, teamwork, and competition. For example, by playing football, one can develop teamwork ability, coordination, this can be just a word, no hyphenation necessary, and presence of mind. Good. Winning a game is always the desired result. I would do that. And hence it allows them to experience healthy competition. So as you've noticed already probably, we have a considerable number of extra extra articles. There were not that many errors with preposition, but the majority of your issues are in additional articles that are not required. So this is something to concentrate on throughout the next few corrections. Hence, let's say, when children only read books, they cannot focus on these particular skills, or these skills, either's fine. To conclude, let's say performing. By performing enjoyable activities, such as playing games on devices, or outdoor sports activities. If it's sports, more than one sport, it must be more than one activity. By performing enjoyable activities such as playing games on devices or outdoor sports activities. Well, we've used activities too many times now. So let's say, we can say hobbies or pastimes. By performing enjoyable pastimes such as playing games on devices, let's say electronic games, because this now I feel has just gotten a bit long. Electronic games or outdoor sports not only contributes to the development of their psychological skills, but also strengthens the physique. Certainly, the traditional method of reading a book or books would fail to impart the same in children. Good. So there's nothing wrong with the format of your writing. We literally just had to make some minor grammatical and phrasing corrections. So let's focus on incorporating some more advanced vocabulary, some more academic vocabulary, trying to stay away from words like do, have, get, and let, and make. These are easy verbs, and we want to try to impress the examiner with some more precise language. Also, well done for including an example here, but really each paragraph should be supported with an example. We need real-world things that have happened to back up our statements with evidence. We need to provide credibility. We need to show that we have based our opinion on meaningful things and not just our own thoughts. But let's move on to a second piece. So I'm going to move slightly faster this time, see if you can keep up. Communication devices connected to the internet. Communication devices connected to the internet play a vital role in our life. According to some, there has been a decline in communication, not only among friends, colleagues, or neighbours, but also with close family members. I completely agree with this assertion. We don't use contractions in academic writing. So I would say, I completely agree with this assertion, and furthermore, I perceive it to be a worrying trend. Cool. Good. Here as well, could just be although. Although face-to-face communication has decreased to a far lower level than when. If we're going to use this comparative, a far lower level, then we have to compare it with something. A far lower level than only 10 years ago. I think that would be fine. The method and platform to communicate. Methods and platforms to communicate have increased dramatically. This was correct. These needed to be plural. With the emergence of social media platforms, it is now a cinch to connect with other people anywhere in the world. For example, Facebook, a social media platform, allows the users to interact with each other irrespective of their geographical location. Good. Hence, the flexibility and availability of the internet and connected devices permits people to communicate through email, voicemail, or social media posts, which have resulted in a decline in interpersonal communication. Cool. Nevertheless, this reduced communication is a byproduct, one word, of internet communication, change in lifestyle. Here, this should be two separate sentences, but we can just use a semicolon to separate them. Nevertheless, this reduced communication is a byproduct of internet communication. Change in lifestyle is an additional factor which contributes, I wouldn't say equally because you haven't measured it. So let's say similarly. Doesn't mean the same, means almost the same. The previous generation, it's a definite generation, had set timings to work. Let's say had set work schedules I want to join these two together. So what I'm going to do is do this and then this. That's better. Office workers were previously most commonly we are on shift. If we are working, we can be said to be on shift. So, office workers were previously most commonly on 9 to 5 shifts. Hence, they could allocate specific time for dinner. Don't need this. For dinner with family members. Having supper together, explored an opportunity to discuss their day with near ones. Contrary to this, or that actually, contrary to that, the current generation work in more irregular shifts as they have who's they? So let's say as businesses have expanded globally and require them, because we're talking about the current generation. So if you say them, I think of the current generation, not businesses. So contrary to that, the current generation work in more irregular shift patterns. Shift patterns, good collocation. As businesses have expanded globally and require them to work in different time zones to satisfy the needs of customers. For example, as per the recent survey conducted by Stanford University, 42% of IT professionals in India work in night shifts and complete their sleep during the daytime. This clearly shows a reason for the recorded decline in communication, or the perceived, actually. But also, I would say here, I would use evidently. So if there is evidence for it, if it is clear, then use evidently. If you use clearly, it's kind of rude, because you're saying this should be something you should already understand. So to conclude, despite the rise in communication in terms of quantity, the quality has decreased significantly, largely due to the overuse of technology and changes in living patterns. So here our biggest problems were plurals and, once again, stray articles. Let's rein in those articles and plurals. So in the next set of essays, what I'd like you to do is, 1, correct your own work using these suggestions. So I want to, in your next email, receive an error list of the things you did wrong most frequently, your corrected essays, these 2, and 2 new essays, which I will send you right now. It was a pleasure correcting your work, Sushant, but have a nice day and goodbye for now.